Welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about points in R2. Remember that in all of multivariable calculus, in multivariable differentiation, we study the forward problem of taking the derivative, aka the gradient, of multivariable functions. In order to understand multivariable functions, so perhaps we say that the output variable we'll call z, and it is a function of two input variables. So this thing right here is going to be a two-variable function. Because we have two inputs, and then here this is going to be the output variable. In order to understand this, we begin by studying points in R2. All right. So, R2 is going to be defined as the set of ordered pair x comma y where both x and y are in R. And I think I should explain this notation a little bit. This is read as the set of ordered pairs x comma y, and then these two little dots are read as such that x and y are in R. So there's some notation that needs to be said here. These little things are called set brackets. They define a set. This thing right here is called an element symbol. So when we write x element of R, this is read x in R. This is called the element symbol. It's used to represent inclusion in a set. And then this thing here is called Blackboard R, because way back when people written on blackboards, they distinguish this from a regular R. It represents the real numbers. So it's the set of all real numbers. So this is the set of all real numbers. So the name for that symbol is called Blackboard R, and it's a set of all real numbers. So R2, the two-dimensional inputs to our function, is the set of ordered pairs that looks like this. Okay. When we look at a point in R2, these are defined as ordered pairs of real numbers. And in general, this will have a very specific notation. So we say that a point in R2 has a name. We call this the point name. So in this case, the point name is going to be P. And then the thing on the left is going to be called the first coordinate of point P. And the thing on the right is going to be called the second coordinate of point P. We can graph this on an axis by moving x units along the first coordinate axis and y units along the second coordinate axis, just as you would have done in your previous classes. All right, so we could just kind of imagine here for any x and y, here's the first coordinate axis horizontally. Doesn't matter what you call it. And you move x units along first coordinate axis and y units along the second coordinate axis. These are random, so it doesn't matter what the values are. So this is what we call second coordinate axis. All right. And then this is the point now, P, x comma y. All right. Notice a point is isolated, aka no connectivity. All a point is a single dot in the first and second coordinate axis plane. There's no lines connecting these dots. It's just a dot at where the x value of that dot represents the first coordinate value and the y value of the dot represents the second coordinate value. In the next video, we're going to start talking about vectors, and we'll see in that situation that in vectors we have connectivity. All right. Now that we've defined a point, let's look at a quick example of how we might use this. So let's look at an example. So let's graph points. We're going to have two different points. We'll call the first one Q, and we'll call it 1, 1. And we'll have a second point P, which we'll call 5, 4. All right. Here we go. We start by drawing our XY plane, or first and second coordinate axis. Here's the first coordinate axis and the second coordinate axis. It looks like we're going to need some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe we'll go up to 6. Make sure to label all of these to make it super clear to ourselves what we're doing here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe go up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. First point, we go 1 over and 1 up. We call this point Q because we were told that that was what the point called in the problem. And then the second point, P, we went 5 and 4. And it looks like that's going to be right about there. So this is going to be P. All right. And just to make it super clear that those are connected to ourselves in this one, perhaps we can draw draw some dots. Not necessary to do this, but we're just making it clear that those are connected. Okay, so notice in the points, there's nothing connected between the two of them. These are just dots in the coordinate plane. In the next video, we'll start talking about vectors, and that changes things. See you in the next video.